So this video specifically for DIY Peugeot users. In other words, do it yourself. People that like diagnosing Peugeot vehicles themselves. It can also this video can also benefit other Peugeot vehicle users who are not DIY, uh, even Peugeot technicians. So now, if you have some kind of electrical issue with your vehicle, with your modern Peugeot vehicle, and you're trying to find out what the issue is, and you are not really getting a headway, or during the diagnosis, you suspect or is pointing out the result of the diagnosis is pointing out that your ECU, engine ECU, or your BSI unit is faulty, or the cause of the symptoms you're having on the vehicle. Now, I know it can be very tempting to get another kit, like you can see on this screen: BSI, engine ECU, and the key, which is used one. So it can be very tempting to quickly get another kit and swap in, with the hope that will solve the problem. Now, my advice is there's nothing wrong in doing that. It's one of the elimination methods. You swap in another one. If the issue goes away, then you've seen the problem. But I'll advise, before you do it, go through the wirings. Go through the wirings, all the wiring connection to any of these units you are looking at on the screen. Like the BSI unit, check the wiring connection to the BSI unit. Likewise, the engine ECU. And not just these two units, just check, pull up the bonnet, check all the wiring connections. If there's any kind of bypass or stuff like that, disconnect any of those things. Doesn't matter. Even your radiator cooling fan, the electric ones, check the connection to it. If there's any kind of bypass or abuse on any electrical connection on the engine bay or inside the vehicle, just disconnect all of them or reconnect them properly. Personally, I will even just disconnect. I will reverse every connection to where it's supposed to be. So do it. If you don't know how to reverse, disconnect whatever it is. If you can't start, if the connection is has to do with starting the vehicle or something, well, fine. It means you have to, if you can't reverse and put it correctly, find somebody who can, before you connect another kit, another engine ECU, BSI unit, or thereabout, especially these two units. Before you mount another kit, make sure the wiring connections are intact. If you check and didn't find anything, then go ahead and do the swap. Reason why I'm saying this is because most people quickly rush and they do the swap, forgetting that if truly something has damaged the ECU or the PSI unit is damaged, that is most likely there was a wrong connection done on the vehicle in the past that caused it. So what do you think is going to happen to the new one, or the used one, or another good new one, or good one that you want to mount? What do you think is going to happen to it? You think the connection will spare the one you are going to mount when it has damaged the one you removed? So you have to understand that. Go through all your connections before you do that kind of sensitive swap, because these units, they are not like parts. You can swap sensors, or some electrical components, trying to to check if that is the cause. But this kind of units, I will strongly advise you check the connections. wiring connection before you do anything, because you may end up wasting money, because when you do that swap, it's likely going to burn it immediately, right away. Something you didn't even use, as in you can't you haven't even used the part, only for it to blow it up. Imagine if you borrowed it from someone, from another user, same model of the vehicle or something, and you now damage that person's. What do you think? It means you have to replace for that person's own before you even talk about yours. So you are putting yourself in a very tight situation. So like I said, I know most DIY do this. However, technicians can also gain from this, for those who don't know already. But I believe most of them already know. Because one thing about this thing is, if you make a mistake, immediately it will teach you. So sometimes you learn from experience. So likewise, if you own a Peugeot vehicle and you come to this point, somebody is doing the diagnosis for you, and you get to a point where they suggested, let's try another ECU kit. You insist that they do all this check on the wires before another, because you are the one that is going to pay. If it damages that one, they are going to throw in. So now there's nothing wrong if somebody says, let me test ECU kit on your vehicle. All they need to do is disconnect your BSI, disconnect your engine ECU and your instrument panel. That's what you must do. Disconnect these 3 units, and when they put another engine ECU kit, that's including the BSI unit and with the key, probably they will have to swap in the transponder, or the security module on the key. So make sure they don't connect the instrument panel. Don't connect it. Let them do all the tests to know if the ECU or BSI is working. If what's it called, the issue that they need to check from the instrument panel, fine, let them put the one from the old one, the one they remove from, but let them not use yours, because it's going to affect your mileage, original mileage. So they can do all your tests later, they put back everything, reconnect your instrument panel with your engine ECU. But if they are asking you that they want to take your engine ECU kit or your instrument panel to test on another vehicle, they need yours to test it on another vehicle that is having issue or showing symptoms of faulty engine ECU or BSI unit, I wouldn't agree to that if I were you. So because whatever that is happening to the other one, if they didn't thoroughly check the connections and they mount yours, they are likely going to damage yours. They can test the damaged one on your vehicle, nothing is going to happen to that. It will still respond like the other one on the other vehicle. But you testing yours on the vehicle that is giving those symptoms, you are likely going to have that kind of issue. In other words, it may damage your own kit. So just started to point this out, because I know people make mistakes on this. It can happen to anybody, but always resist that temptation or the rush to swap in another kit without checking the wiring connection, because what usually kills these ECUs wrong wiring connection, power surges here and there. Not saying this ECU cannot die on their own over time, but they hardly do. So what usually kills them much faster is all these wrong connections, cutting and joining, pushing wires here and there, bypassing everything. All these things affects them, and sometimes they kills them over time, slowly or rapidly, immediately. So I hope this makes sense to anybody who wants to take this free advice. All right.